Steve, thank you so much for coming. Our anchor over there, Hande Demirel, said welcome. One of the Turkey's friends, and also you lived in Turkey, in Istanbul, is the New York Times bureau chief, right? Am I saying it right?
That's true. Those were 4 years, and 4 years is not enough to get to know Turkey, I can tell you.
Do you miss Turkey?
I do quite a bit. I really think that Turkey is arguably the most interesting country in the world. There are so many layers of culture and history there, and what's going on there now is so exciting. I think when I was there, Turkey was just emerging into the world like a debutante. It's no longer a debutante. Now it's really at the ball.
So we got to go in the summer together. Before we talk about the plans, let's talk about Turkey, as you said. Where is Turkey economically now? I know you always study, you have two amazing books that relate to Turkey. One of them is The Crescent and Moon, as my co-anchor said, and also the other one is the
Reset.
Reset, Iran, Turkey, America. And you still follow, you still write about it. Where do you see Turkey right now?
I think Turkey's at a very interesting moment because you're starting to see the politics and the economics overlap. Don't forget that the entire phenomenon of the rise of the AKP government came after an economic crisis. There was an argument in the cabinet room, and then the next thing you know, there was a big crisis. Tens of thousands of businesses collapsed. Hundreds of thousands of families lost everything. And that's pretty recent. That's only 15 years ago. I think over the years you've had people voting for the AKP party, the Erdogan party, even people who didn't particularly like many of its aspects because it guaranteed something that transcends politics, which is economic stability. You can plan for your future. Your family is stable. The ordinary Turk is now earning twice as much money as he earned when Tayyip Erdogan came into office. And when you go to vote, that counts for a lot. So I never believed that the government would fall or rise because of the secular Islamic clash. That was something that I think was over-exaggerated. I also never thought that Erdogan would get into trouble by being too authoritarian, because in many ways actually Turks like that. But the economics is different. He came into power with this promise: you might not like everything I'm doing, but look at how well you're doing financially. And if that starts to fade away, if that starts to evaporate, then you see a different situation in Turkey, and I think that's starting to happen now.
And how about the region? The region's stability, because it's also, Turkey is dependent on the regional stability. And I know you cover and research about all the other countries around Turkey as well. How will that affect Turkey, the regional stability?
I think it really is hurting Turkey, and part of it is self-inflicted. Turkey has not played in the last few years the stabilizing role in the region that it seemed to play in the early 2000s. Emotion took over and guided Turkey's break with Israel, later its break with Syria, its difficult relations with Egypt. Turkey used to have this concept they called zero problems with neighbors. Now it's more like zero neighbors without problems. Turkey has not managed to perform the stabilizing function that it used to play in that part of the world. And this is especially important for Turkey because it depends economically so much on regional stability. As long as there are airports to be built and roads to be built and consumers to be satisfied, that's great for Turkey. But right now, with upheaval seeming to spread throughout that region, partly as a result, I think, of flawed Turkish policies, it has the real potential for undermining the Turkish economy and starting to drag it down.
And I remember our last time, I think we met, it was a long time ago. That was about your book. Your book recently came out. It was Reset, Turkey, US, and Iran, right? And it talked about the relations of the three. You said that there's a new demand for your book nowadays, but did the roles reverse? Well, how do you value that? How do you comment on that?
It's interesting you point that out because it's true. My book, Reset, Iran, Turkey, and America's Future, came out about 5 years ago, and it proposed this idea that Turkey and Iran were actually the logical partners for the United States in that part of the world. When that book came out, I got a lot of reactions from people saying, Turkey as a partner for the U.S., okay, makes sense, but Iran, out of the question.
What are you talking about, right?
This was the moment when the Green Movement was being repressed in Tehran. It just seemed out beyond belief. But now, I'm getting new demand for that book, and the question is almost the opposite. People are saying Iran is looking more and more like a very interesting potential partner for the United States. But Turkey, what happened to Turkey? Turkey seems to be falling off the map in terms of its relationship with the West and the United States. So I'm seeing a lot of attention just beginning to be focused on Iran, not just from a political and diplomatic standpoint, but also from an economic standpoint. Bear in mind now that we're starting to begin a reconciliation process between Iran and the West. Iran is a country of 70 million people. It's probably the last big potential consumer market that's untapped in the world. And many American and Western companies are very focused on this. Although you're not seeing it in the news, a lot of the driver of the reconciliation, the détente that Europe and America are trying to work out with Iran has to do with the private sector. This is a country that needs tens of billions, perhaps hundreds of billions of investment in the oil and gas sector alone. Its airline needs an entire new fleet of airlines. There's great demand for pharmaceuticals there, and Western companies are very aware of this. So while you're seeing in the newspapers the political back and forth in Congress over whether it's a good idea to negotiate with Iran or not, below the surface, there's considerable pressure from companies in the United States and in Europe that see Iran as a fantastic potential new consumer market, and that can also have a political implication.
Oh my goodness, Steve, you said it, you put it so well. We do have to go to Turkey together, don't forget that. And are you, last 10 seconds, are you working on any, or is there any plan to work on a new book about Turkey-U.S. relations?
I don't know if I'll write a book about that, but Turkey-U.S. relations are an axis of world power now, so I'll always be focusing on that. The new axis, however, may be Turkey-Iran, United States. Let's wait and see how it develops.
Thank you so much for coming.
See you in Turkey.
Yes, definitely.